Bitcoin is literally bouncing from support right now, guys. I'm going to talk about why I just took a long Bitcoin and Ethereum a couple of minutes ago and why I think Bitcoin, if it breaks this major resistance line, we can see a new all-time high being put on Ethereum and Bitcoin. However, if we don't break this resistance line, we could actually fall 5 to 10% and actually put a new monthly low. So watch this video till the end, guys. And as you can see, this is the level where we bounced at and why I took a long literally this morning. As you can see, if you go to the hourly time frame, we can see Bitcoin bouncing from the 114.5k. This is literally the support I mentioned on our last video. As you can see, this is the last video. If you didn't watch this video, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell because this is a brand new channel. I have an established channel in Arabic. However, I decided to post videos in English. If you want to support me and get the best and latest long and short ideas on Bitcoin and Ethereum, keep watching or start watching this channel because I'm gonna be making daily content. Hopefully, as you can see, this is my Arabic channel with almost 8.3k. Now let's get right into Bitcoin and why I just took a long. As I told you from our last video on our English channel, we bounced from 114.6k, which gave us a new idea of a low. As you can see, if I go to the 15-minute time frame, Bitcoin, what it did basically, it gave us this poor low and then it took this low, gave us a nice SFP, took liquidity, broke the low of Monday, and then now it's bouncing back. My current long trade is in a couple of profits. As you can see, it's almost a 1% profit. However, I don't think this long trade would be very strong. I'm taking it based on our TA on the scalp time frame. However, if we go to the 1 hourly time frame, I still think Bitcoin could fall much lower. I'm gonna share the reason why Bitcoin is at a very critical, massive area, because if Bitcoin doesn't reclaim one resistance line, we could actually fall to 110 to 111k. If we go to the 4 hourly time frame, I'm gonna share two volume profile pulls. The first one, as you can see, if we take the volume profile tool now and put it from the beginning of the range we started making on the 11th of July till the current price action, you can see that right now we're below the value area low, as you can see, which is at 116.3k. If we fail to reclaim this area, we can actually fall much lower because we're breaking out of this volume range that we kept or stayed inside for a whole month. As you can see, we already tested it once and we failed to break it based on our last video. So if we try to test it again, we should see a reclaim. If we don't, then we can actually fall much higher, much lower. Sorry, right now, Bitcoin, yes, I'm taking a long, or I've taken a long on Bitcoin. However, this could actually turn into a very small long if we don't see the reversal from 116.3k. If we fail to break it, then I'm still bearish and I'm still expecting lower on Bitcoin. This is my current perspective up until we see a reclaim of 116.3k. Why I'm technically bearish and where is the level or next major support line? Basically, if we take the same volume profile, however, we add or include the total volume from breaking or since breaking the 100k level, as you can see, we can see that we've got a whole or a huge gap in the volume from the 118k up down or down to 110k. As you can see, that reason because we actually saw an explosive move back then in 10th of July when we had a breakout out of the 10k level. As you can see, 110k, we saw a huge strong move up to 118k. So technically, or hence why we've got literally almost zero volume from the 110k down to 110k. So my view is, technically, we can actually drop from 118k down to 110k as fast as we did from going up. As you can see, it took us about only a day to get from 110k up to 118k. So it's literally not impossible for us to see the same thing happen. However, on the downside, as you can see, literally there's no volume. Bitcoin tried once doing that from 110k down to 112k. However, it actually found support and came up, took some liquidity. But right now, why it's dangerous? Because why I think this actually could play out and we could see Bitcoin drop to 110k if we don't reclaim 116k is actually because the last time we had this drop, similar drop on Bitcoin, we had huge liquidity on the upside. As you can see, we had a new all-time high being put and then we had major liquidity. Now it's different. Bitcoin just took the liquidity, it came up, it rose up, took liquidity, and then now it's dropping hard. I guess, or my reasoning is because we don't have as much liquidity from this current drop, we can actually see the full rotation in volume profile. Last time we had liquidity, we had a reason to go up. However, right now, as you can see, we literally just made a new all-time high. So technically, if we don't reclaim 116K, I'm technically bearish and I can still foresee Bitcoin in a couple of hours or days go to 111 to 108K. However, I don't see it as something bad, to be honest. Although I've taken a long right now on Bitcoin as a scalp, I'd prefer Bitcoin reaching 108K because I think technically the best long to be had is at 108K to 111K. This is the best, to be honest, support line. Taking this low from the beginning of August, taking this low, liquidating people that have gotten into longs, and then we can actually take the best long trade to be had on Bitcoin. So, however, I'm seeing this as an opportunity. Yes, I'd prefer Bitcoin going higher right now. However, I just want to keep it real with you guys right now. If we don't reclaim 116K or 116.5K, actually the probability of going lower is much higher than going to a new all-time high. And this is very similar to what I have on Ethereum. As you can see, Ethereum just hit the support line I've mentioned on a couple of my previous videos. However, due to Bitcoin being very bearish, I think that Ethereum is also gonna drop. If Bitcoin is dropping to 111, 100K, then Ethereum is definitely gonna drop and it's not gonna respect the current support I have. I'm technically bullish on Ethereum. However, because I see the bearishness in Bitcoin, if it doesn't reclaim the resistance I've mentioned, I guess Ethereum is going to also drop. We never see Ethereum going up while Bitcoin is dropping. Always remember this, guys. When Bitcoin is dropping, everything is going to drop much harder. So technically, if Ethereum loses the 4300, 4200 support, I'm going to wait for Ethereum to be at the best massive support, similar to what we said on Bitcoin. Bitcoin having the 111 to 108K as the best support to buy either spot or get into long trades. Also, similarly on Ethereum, I think the best support to get into long trades and spot invest into Ethereum, we can see is at almost 3800, 3900. We've got the NPUC, a high volume area, and also got the Fibonacci retracement tool. From this low to this high, we can see that this is technically the best volume area to be having or to be buying Ethereum at. As you can see, at least if Bitcoin drops to say 111, 110, this is a 4% drop. When we see a 4% drop on Bitcoin, technically and very possibly we can see a 9 to 10 to even 12% drop on Ethereum. So watch Ethereum once it breaks 4K level. Once it's breaking 4K, then I think that's the best opportunity to buy. So we can fake out 4K, liquidate all the stop losses under 4K, and then we can go up and actually make a new all-time high. I'm technically very bullish on Ethereum. However, as I've said, due to Bitcoin being a bit bearish, I'm willing to buy even at lower prices on Ethereum because my guess and my prediction is for Ethereum to make a new all-time high. Thanks for watching, guys.